bam, it worked. La, 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 la. Okay. So we're going to mark this up. I might turn some of this down a little bit. Let me see. Let's do that. Okay. So there's the 8. Here's the date. There's the 8. There's the date. There you go. Here we are, May 19th, the Taurus new moon at 10:52 a.m. I am in Central Daylight Time Zone, so adjust for where you live. May 19th. Okay, that's a Friday by me. Probably a Friday by a lot of folks because it's 10:52 a.m., 11 a.m. in the morning. And I will point it out on the chart. The video, just so you know, if you haven't seen your rising sign video, go watch it because your rising sign video talks about this new moon for you, this new beginning. It talks about it and it tells you where it happens in your life, like what house number. So if you know your rising sign, go find that sign on my channel and that's the video for you. If you don't know your rising sign, comment below to me. We will get that figured out and we will get you matched up with the right video. All right. You got any questions? We'll work things out. So there it is, 28:25. New moon at 28 degrees and 25 minutes. You see that? You see that? The moon and the sun are together, and that's what makes this a new moon. The moon and the sun are together. But look, there's a lot more here. There's a lot more. What do you see? There's a lot at 28 and 29 degrees. You see, we also have Sedna at 29. So this is a new moon conjunct Sedna. Sedna is about earth issues. Sedna is also water, though. Water and earth issues. Okay. Sedna can be Sedna is typically, there's a video on the channel that talks about the myth of Sedna. I will link it below. Hopefully I remember. If I don't, and if you haven't seen it, comment to me and say, gee, where is the Sedna video? So I remember to put it down there in case I forgot. Watch the Sedna video because it's part of this new moon. Sedna is angry. Sedna is goddess energy. So it doesn't have to always show up as a negative in your life. You may have things in your chart that create ease. Okay. But if it's a new moon, including Sedna, I'm thinking because Sedna is like, hey, wait a minute, damn it. Sedna is all about the earth. It's all about the earth. How do you work with the earth in a natural way? Sedna, again, water things, water issues, whether it's an abundance of or a lack of. You follow? Sedna in ancient astrology, known to be the one who can kind of like sailors, not even sailors, even the indigenous peoples, the Inuits, they would say, you know, if you're a fisher person, you're going out in the boat, the first fish you catch, you throw it back in and you're giving that to Sedna, because what that will do is that will show her that you're honoring her, you recognize her, you're acknowledging her, and she will make the rest of your fishing voyage smooth and carefree, and you'll have an abundance of fish, right? And so it's the idea of I can't be abusing and I have to honor all things and beings and the land and the animals and return it into which the way that I found it, if not better, right? Because it's working in a natural way. It's harmony. Taurus is all about peace and harmony. Nobody, you know, if you're gonna pillage and rape Mother Earth, well, then there's going to be a problem. That's just how Sedna energy will express. So we think about Sedna energy and we understand that we have to be conscious and we have to be good stewards of the earth is what that energy wants us to do. Again, if you don't know where this happens in your chart, comment below so we can get you hooked up to the right video or whatever your question is, however I can help you, right? Now, the new moon in Taurus, Taurus energy on a large scale. Banking for sure. It's at a critical degree just about here. It's at 28:25, but Sedna is definitely at the critical degree, 29:38. And what else do we have? We also have Vulcan here. We have Vulcan. Vulcan has the power to create or destroy. Let me throw something away so that's not in your way anymore. Vulcan is this little arrow pointing downward. It's at 29:45. It's conjunct Sedna. So these are all together here. Like, look at this. This is all Taurus energy at this in the critical degrees. 28, 28, 29, 29. Powerful, disruptive. So it might not feel so great for some people. There might be like, okay, what's going on? Right. And we know in, especially for the US, there's been some banks that had to be bought out, some banks that other banks picked up for a good price, banks that failed. And Taurus is all about being cautious with the money. Like if I hold it, I own it. I kind of alluded to that earlier, right? So it's something that's grounded, it's tangible, it makes sense. It's not going to take a risk with its money. It's cautious, right? And look at all the energy we have in Taurus. Look at Mercury here. We got Mercury right here. You see Mercury? Let me expand on this chart for you guys. I'm sorry. I forgot I could do that. So let's do that real quick because we're really kind of just doing this in the beginning so you guys can see all the details. Taurus energy, Mercury at 637. Mercury just went direct. Mercury was standing still. Mercury stood still and is going direct at 637 on this new moon. Mercury stopped at 550, 5 degrees and 50 minutes, and started going forward. So there's a new beginning with Mercury. See how all this is in Taurus, right? All this. What about Jupiter? Remember that I talked about in the beginning? Jupiter expands our values. All of a sudden, Jupiter expands those values. Remember, Jupiter can be, it can exaggerate a little bit, right? And then we have the North Node at 358, Mercury 637, Astrea. Mercury is news and information. Jupiter can be the justices. Jupiter can be judgments. Jupiter can be someone, I want to say somebody of authority, but it's almost like a money guru in a way because it's like wise energy, Jupiter. Someone who's very wise, somebody who comes in and who's like, if it's in Taurus, like they're a master economist or something. I think of Elizabeth Warren in a way, someone who's really wise with the money. And if you ever listen to any of her talks when she was teaching, if you can Google them on YouTube, like, man, that woman, holy crap, she's the real deal when it comes to finances, and that's why Wall Street, they do not like her at all because she's all about, let's get rid of all the waste. Let's get the people who are making the big money. Why aren't they paying their fair share of taxes? And so Jupiter comes in. Yeah, I think Elizabeth Warren, because there's so much here, we have Mercury here. When Jupiter and Mercury were conjunct, we might have had that Elizabeth Warren thing, but Jupiter by itself, not so much. Mercury has pulled away now. Yeah, Mercury never actually went back to touch Jupiter. Mercury stopped at 550. So that right there says possibly not. This may be like Jerome Powell, the Fed in the United States government. I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, they're doctoring the books. It's not all, it's not all really what they're saying. The system isn't as financially sound as they're saying. What I will say is Mercury in Taurus, this may have to do with commercial real estate because Mercury is definitely real estate. It's in Taurus, that's commercial real estate. So we think of the real estate, we think of even the housing market, and yeah, look at Juno. Juno's in Gemini, the housing market, Gemini energy, business, right? But so much is in Taurus, it's finances. There's a big focus on values, and the earth better be part of it. That's all I got to say. The earth being a big part and doing things that are more harmonious for the earth, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping and praying for. Uranus is sitting there at 19. You see Uranus over here? Right there at 19 degrees. That's Uranus. Let me move that red thing over just a smidgen. Yeah. So we got Uranus at 19. And it doesn't have anything like right on top of it. It does have Vesta there. Vesta, remember Taurus? So it's money and values and love and creature comforts. So food and agriculture. Agriculture is a big deal here. Delivery of the agriculture, even over by the ships, right? Because Jupiter is the water and foreign lands, and Mercury is here. The North Node is here. And Jupiter is just about to get there. It's going to be at the end of May, the very last day of May, the first day of June, when the North Node and Jupiter are conjunct, the most auspicious, beneficial time of 2023. That means that the most beneficial things can happen for you in terms of your finances, in terms of your values, possibly even your love, right? Your creature comforts and the planet Earth herself. So I'm excited about that big time. For those of you who have this on your sun, you get the recognition because the sun is the authority figure. And if Jupiter comes there, it's like all of a sudden you become so lit. It's like your sun is multiplied there. The way you radiate and shine is on a large scale. Travel may be involved because it's Jupiter on your sun. You follow? It radiates, it expands your ability to shine, your ability, all of a sudden, like your wisdom, your knowledge. Somehow you look like the guru. Somehow you seem to be the person that people may be like, damn, when you speak, it makes sense. Like, you know what you're talking about, right? Because it's on your sun, and the sun is, you can be that authority in your life. You may also get a burst of energy with Jupiter on your sun. If you've got a sun at 3 degrees, I've got a couple of people on the channel who's like, gee, that's where my sun is. My sun is like at 1 degrees, or my sun is at 2 or 3 or 4. Some have said my Mercury is there. My Mercury's at like 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5. When Jupiter touches on it, it's going to be like whoosh. Mercury's communications, all of a sudden, an unbelievable amount of communications. Okay. Now that doesn't last for a real long time. So if you have some other things that create trines in Earth, right? The range would be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees in 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 I want to say Scorpio, in Virgo, and in Capricorn. That would create a beautiful, sweet Earth trine. This is things settling down, because when things were in Aries, it was like things were moving, shaking, moving fast. Let's begin this. Let's do that. Let's, like almost a scattered energy, but beginning and initiating a lot of things all at the same time. Remember, Aries was more of that, let's go to war, let's fight, very impulsive. When things go into Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus is peace loving. Taurus is like, hey, I understand there may be a battle, but what's it worth to you? Is there an amount of money? Can we create some sort of, can we at least find a common ground with our values, with our resources, with our money, right? So we don't have to fight. Like, can we kind of do something like that? Because peace is going to be a big deal here, a big deal. And the sun being at critical degrees, the sun and the new moon, like, right, even though it's 28 technically, we've got Sedna right there and Vulcan. Vulcan is about creating or destroying. It has that power to do both. I can create and I can destroy. It's conjunct Sedna. So this is really powerful. Remember, earth and water issues possibly for some people, and the new beginning. And to me, it says, okay, if something happens that might be like a shock and a surprise, that may be like a water event or an earth event or a combination of both, maybe there's something smart that's going to happen because of it. Some sort of a new beginning, like, hey, let's be more resourceful than this. Let's not do these things that are creating these problems. This is a possibility because the sign of science, Uranus, is in Taurus. So it is all about doing things that are better for the earth, which is why there's such a big deal in the electric vehicles, right? Why there's such a big, like, let's go electric. Let's stop being dependent on the fossil fuels. Like let's stop all that. Electricity is that Uranian energy. It is about independent power, right? And so it being in Taurus, like, that's the new value right now. So it's going to be spending some more time there. And it's science. It's thinking different, right? And obviously we have more work to do with the batteries and how to make that stuff more earth friendly. It's new technology, folks. Practice your Taurus patience. Taurus has patience. Taurus can be very fixed and stubborn, but it can be loyal. A subscriber asked me on the channel, is loyalty the same as being, could you perceive it like where somebody's being stubborn and being loyal? Is that the same thing? And I mean, I guess, but I think that's stretching the meaning of things, honestly. I think when somebody is loyal to somebody, they they choose the loyalty because it's out of love. It's like we have this companionship, we have this camaraderie, and we like get along, right? And so because you show me that loyalty, I show the loyalty back to you, right? Taurus energy. If you know somebody who is a Taurus, if they give you a gift or if they find value in what you do, they give, they take care of you, they hook you up, right? There's like that loyalty factor. And they also don't like to change necessarily. So in a way, you can see how it really gravitates towards being fixed. But as far as being stubborn, it's a refusal to change. It's a refusal to change, stubborn energy. And well, Taurus is fixed. So it has a lot of that energy that says, I don't want to change, damn it. So it's easy for Taurus to be fixed. It's easy for it to be loyal, right? But just remember, if you're talking about compatibility and you're looking at someone's chart, you want to look at the whole chart in terms of that. Don't ever just assume because they're a Taurus that they're going to be loyal. You have to look at the whole chart. Speaking of which, we're going to do that now. We're going to look at some other things. And what do we have? Let me change my color. We're going to look at Pluto. Here is Pluto at 017. Pluto's at 017. That's a fixed sign. Aquarius is fixed. What else do you see? We're going to look for some other things that might be fixed. So we're going to go on over to the other fixed sign, and that would be Scorpio. And right now, the node is at 358. So it's not at 0 degrees yet. So it's not going to square. Technically, you have to get really close to Pluto to square it. You have to get within the minutes. Technically. Okay? Technically. And this is at 4 degrees technically. So it's not a square. There's nothing here right now. But let's go across the way and let's look at Taurus. What do we got? We got Jupiter. We got Pluto and Jupiter in a square. They're squaring each other. This is big, folks. Power. If you're abusing the power, if you're doing, and what power would they be abusing? This is the global systems. Abuses of power of the global systems. Pluto says, I am the all-powerful, the almighty. Some call Pluto God energy. It says that I want the best for all involved. Okay. And when we talk about Aquarius, it's global, it's systems, global systems. So we learned about the supply chain big time during the pandemic, right? But it's not just the supply chains. Think of all the global systems that have to be in place for business and commerce. But what about science? What about health? What about Earth, right? Think of all the organizations that are created that are about working together for humanity, for this planet. Give me examples, put them in the comments, right? So Pluto says, hey, I'm here. And if there's any abuses, we're going to root those things out. And it's squaring, it's creating that stress and tension to Taurus energy. So finances and money and values. And it's Jupiter. So it's big. Jupiter blows it up. Jupiter says, hey, look at this. This is really big. Jupiter in Taurus, remember in the beginning of the video, talking about how Jupiter can be like, oh, I'm expanding on this. I'm telling you how this is, my values are probably, it's like the second set of books. It's the second set of books. I keep one book that I hand in. This is the book I keep behind the counter, right? Like the real numbers. It's books that this can go a couple of different ways. So I'm just going to stop right there. But you know what I'm talking about, right? and so there can be numbers that get fudged, or what do they say? Cooking the books. I never understood that one, but I guess cooking because you're creating something, you're making your own recipe with the numbers, cooking the books. But Pluto is all about, I'm here, and guess what? I'm looking at the books, I'm looking at the numbers, and I see that something is not right. So I would expect that within a global, some sort of the global monetary system, I think it's the IMOF or whatever, the International Monetary, whatever. I don't know enough about all that stuff, but some of you on the channel, I know you do know about that stuff. So if you could please give whatever you can in the comments and like maybe share some of your wisdom with us and let us know what this would look like when it comes to that, because That's a big deal. That is this. That is absolutely this here. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to add is look at Mars. We got Mars, folks. We got Mars at 29 degrees in the sign of Cancer. Mars is typically malefic. Mars tends to throw a monkey wrench into things that can be difficult because it rules Aries energy. So it's usually like an instigator. It starts stuff. Mars was born for war. Mars gets bored very easily, right? It doesn't like to stand still. It is in Cancer at a critical degree, 29 degrees. Now, it wasn't just this day, okay, because Mars goes slow. If it's in the sign of Cancer, the Cancer can be on the big scale, the public. This is people, but it's also family and home. It's on a large scale here. And I will also add that Venus is also here. We're going to just go ahead and use the same color for Venus. She's also in the sign of Cancer. Venus represents the values and the money and the finances. So there's something here that might be worrisome because Cancer energy can be family and home, but it's also emotions. So there's something that might be upsetting, right? Because it's Cancer, it's feelings, it's emotional security. The best way to figure out how this works for you in your life is where is the Cancer energy in your chart? In this chart, it sits in the 4th house and it sits in the 5th house. You see this chart, and this is typical of everybody's charts because I do not use a whole house system when I read charts. For the videos on the channel, the only way to do readings for everybody is to do a general reading. So technically that's like a whole house system, right? But when I'm looking at your chart and the details, I am telling you to use the degrees because for me, the greatest accuracy has been with those degrees. Like I can tell people, okay, here's the window, expect this, right? And so if people want that kind of information, it's there because degrees are dates. Degrees are dates. So on this date, Venus is at 13 degrees, 12:59. Venus is at 13 degrees on this new moon. 13 degrees. Venus is values, it's women, it's money. In the sign of Cancer, Cancer really truly, it isn't so much about giving the physical birth, but it is the ability. It's literally like when the sperm meets the egg, Cancer energy. Like when is the moment that the soul takes form in the physical body, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's kind of abstract and esoteric, but this is a thing here because we got both Venus and Mars in Cancer energy. Man and woman. That those ingredients that are needed to have a baby, man and woman, and to have a family, Cancer energy. Okay, women, Cancer energy. The mother wound, Cancer energy. Now, I will also add that Cancer energy sextiles, which means it's beneficial to Taurus energy. It's beneficial. So Mars here is sending beneficial energy to Taurus in the new moon. It's a Taurus it's sextiling. It's 60 degrees away to the sun and the moon. So this makes it super powerful to set an intention because intentions, the fuel for an intention is your emotions. And Cancer energy, again, is your emotions. It literally is the fuel that makes those intentions more powerful. We can have the thought, we can speak it, but we got to have the fuel to make it manifest. And it's the emotions. They're like the fuel. Okay. So that's a benefit to that. That is a benefit. Now, what else may square? Well, we have to go to the other square, which would be Leo energy. There is nothing at Leo because I'm going back to the Pluto thing. I'm going to switch back to the color black. We have Jupiter and we go over here and there's nothing at 0 degrees. There's nothing at 0 degrees in Leo. But we do have Mars at 29 in Cancer. So what this creates is Mars as an out of sign square because a square is technically 90 degrees away. And you can have an orb with Mars 2 degrees before and 2 degrees after. So this Mars is squaring this. So this means, folks, that we have a T-square for this new moon. It involves Pluto, the opposition of Pluto and Mars, okay? And then we have Mars squaring Jupiter in Taurus, and then we have the Jupiter in Taurus squaring Pluto. So you see it in red there. We have fixed energy, and then Mars putting its 2 cents in. Even though it's at 29 degrees, it's close enough to be near the 0 degrees of Leo. You see? So this can create some very uncomfortable energy for some of you in your life. Even though it's a new moon, right? It's like, this is uncomfortable. What the hell's going on? So there's definitely some sort of a change. And it might involve, it just depends where the house number that your Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius is in. What house number is that in? What house number is the 29 degrees of Mars or 0 degrees or 1 degrees of Leo going to be in for you when this happens? I'll give you an example. Let's pretend this is someone's chart I just looked at the other day. This 0 degrees of Pluto is their midheaven. This 0 degrees of Leo, 29 degrees of Cancer, is their IC, their home. And their Taurus energy then, at that degree, I think their Taurus energy is in their 12th house, I believe, at the 0 degrees. They got that in their 12th. So then that creates a big T square with that 12th house energy, with their 4th house, and with their midheaven, their goals and their ambitions. So if I'm looking at that, and if this is their chart, I'm saying, okay, there's stress and tension with your subconscious values, 12th house, Taurus in the 12th, your subconscious values, okay, subconscious because it's kind of hidden sometimes, or hidden values, and home, 4th house, so could be mom, could be family in general, literally can be where you live, the sticks and the bricks, home, and your goals and your ambitions, where you live. I'm sorry, I said where you live. Your goals and your ambitions. This can be for some of you your job. This can just simply be things you've been working towards, your ambitions, something that it's like a vocation. You work hard at it. You feel like it's your duty, and you're persistent, and it's almost like you feel like you're the authority in this area of your life. They say it is what you will be known for. Think of like, when someone's, at someone's funeral and they're giving a talk, and they talk about that person, and they talk about what they were known for, right? It's usually their midheaven they're talking about. It was whether they got paid for it or not, it didn't matter. But it was the thing that they were recognized and acknowledged for. It's kind of like what they were rewarded for in life. So for that person, if this was their chart, it would be their hidden values, their unconscious values, could be unconscious love, unconscious self-worth, their midheaven, which is their duty and their responsibilities, their vocation, and their home. That would be stress and tension that it would create. Stress and tension. Okay. So this can be a very disruptive new moon, but just be okay with it because it's going to change. The new moon is just one day, folks. It's just one day. That Mars is going to move. The Jupiter is going to move. And then that Jupiter is going to be conjunct the North Node. So this change, it's not like it's going to happen and then it's going to be stagnant and you're just going to sit in it. It's going to be a change. And I know it's disruptive because it's in the fixed signs, and the fixed signs don't like change anyway. They are very opposed to it. All right. So if you don't know and you want to know and you want more details to help me to figure this out for you in your life and to see, what this event could be like, comment below the video and I will do whatever I can. I will help you out in any way that I can. Yeah, just be prepared and to be flexible. Remember that about fixed energy. Remember that about your Taurus energy, about your Aquarius energy, and about the Leo energy. It is us being challenged to change what it is we're fixated on, to be more flexible, to be open to considering other things and other people and other possibilities for who and what we value. And yeah, who and what we value, whether it's our friends, because it's the sign of Aquarius, the way we think and communicate, our money, but then the way that we shine and radiate that Leo energy, that Leo energy. Okay. And mom can be involved for some of you. Absolutely. Because we've got Mars on Cancer energy. So the public may also be part of this picture. All right. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. And remember, if you don't know and you want to know, comment below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.